you both like to come and light candles? I'll do the lighting. You just come up and. Hmm? That was fun. Are those new to the collection?
Have to get an impractical pair of shoes. At least these are comfortable. You're kind of stepping on the fun.
Yeah, that's a temporary. Even the light is temporary. We're gonna get a smaller bulb, like a candle, like a thing. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to all who are joining us from wherever you might be, whether it's here at Temple or via our live stream, and wherever you are in your homes. And welcome and a wonderful opportunity to come together for our very last Shabbat of 5781. And on Monday evening, of course, we'll join together for Erev Rosh Hashanah, our New Year's, beginning of the New Year and high holiday celebrations. And so we hope that you'll continue to join us throughout the holiday season. We'll be here on our live YouTube live access, also via Zoom directly, and you've been sent that information if you're part of the congregation. So we hope that you'll join us there. And we are experiencing a high holidays like we haven't before, except it's sort of like last year. But certainly different than what we'd like, and certainly different than what we're used to. And we hope and we pray that soon we'll be able to have our seats filled with beautiful people and wonderful, wonderful prayer together. And for now, we'll do that as we can in the amazing, using the amazing technology that we have available to us. So we'll invite Bobby and Jan forward to light our Shabbat candles. If you're joining us via live stream, please say hello, say Shabbat Shalom, tell us what's new, send a Shabbat greeting. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav, mitzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
You'll notice that we are in our social space, and behind me you see the beautiful new portable ark that we have had made, that someone graciously provided the funds to create, and we have the saying behind it. And I know that people are probably wondering, what does that Hebrew say? Well, first, if we look at the other ark that we have, the other ark says, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, spread over us your shelter of peace. And so we wanted to create a companion saying so that the two would mix. And so this one says, Sim shalom tova uvracha, grant us peace, goodness, and blessing. And comes from the morning service, the prayer for peace. And so we'll begin this evening, and we'll join together in Imaya Fe Hayom on page 10.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
As we welcome Shabbat into our hearts and into our lives, we turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Yishmiyanu el hamilchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, V'shem u'tiferet v'tila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Imakor habaracha, Merosh mikerem nesucha, Sof ha'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi,
Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela.
Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi kala, boi kala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat, Nekavela. Lecha
Dodi,
Likrat Kala, B'nai Shabbat,
Nekavela. Please be seated, and we'll continue on page 22. Mizmor Shir, a psalm for Shabbat.
Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. להגיד בבוקר השבחה, באמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. וזמר לשמך עליון, וזמר לשמך עליון.
And on page 24, we welcome each other and welcome Shabbat into our hearts with Shalom Aleichem, blessings for peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seirchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We rise together for Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
Yitkadav, Yitkadav Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad Yivarach Chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yamechon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala u'bizman kariv imaru.
Amen.
Yehi
Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam olad me'al ma'aya, yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala Shmei Kedusha
Barichu.
Leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'ama v'imaru. Amen. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated as we continue with Ma'ariv Aravim, page 30. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim B'chokhma Poteach Sha'arim Uvitvuna Meshane Itim Umachalif Et Hazmanim Umisader Et HaKochavim V'mishmerotehem Barakia Kirtzono Borei Yom V'Layla Golel Or Mipnei Choshech V'Choshech Mipnei Or Uma'avir Yom Umevi Layla Umavdil Ben Yom Uven Layla Adonai Tzivaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimlocha Lenu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim. Page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could a truer token of your abiding love be than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ahavat Olam, made Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta, Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, v'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Yehem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
On page 34, we rise and join together in Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated and we'll continue with the Ahafta on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu etotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great. It has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osef elel. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah, atah Adonai haborei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah, atah Adonai haborei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We join in Vishamru, that prayer that thanks God for the opportunities that we have to celebrate Shabbat. It is an opportunity. There is that classic question, if we don't celebrate Shabbat, does Shabbat still exist? And it is on us. The obligation is on us to shamor Shabbat, to guard Shabbat, to protect it, to observe it, to make it happen. God creates us the opportunity, gives us the opportunity. We have to make it the reality.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berith olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berith olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berith olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim vet haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berith olam. Ubayom hashvi, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berith olam.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise as we rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atagi bor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Morid hatav. Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umechayim emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gelurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayek, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'nei manata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated, and we continue on page 53. Days pass, and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our mouths to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha lavadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael bashalom.
Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We take some mind and look inward to those prayers in our own hearts and our own thoughts. Some moments of silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פיו והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
We turn together to page 253. And there we find the text of Mishaberach. May the one who blessed our ancestors also grant us a blessing of health. There are so many in our world, in our country, in our state, in our city, who are in need of help, of that extra energy of healing, whether they are battling this coronavirus or other related illness or something unrelated completely. Whether the illness is an illness of body and mind or heart or soul. When we join our prayers together, as we do with congregations across the world at this very moment, there are prayers and energy coming to us and through us from all corners of the earth, and prayers for peace and prayers for healing. And so on this Shabbat, we mention Greg Bennett, Michael Byron, Andrea Kepner-Blake, Scott Gordon, Patricia Heibel, Rebecca Gottlieb, Julian Howell, Thomas Costinis, Phyllis Levin, Beatrice Fox, Zachary Jackson, Dane Marcinowski, Berko Shervetsky, Jim McCann, Debbie Perry, Fran Porras, Frank Pissarro, Bruce Harrell, Sasha Leopold, Jason Waters, Bernice Fox, Lorraine Wellington, Matea Press, David Spanger, Marcia Pinsky-Koblitz, Jack Hall, Joe Riley, Joseph Besetner, Edie Francis, and Kathy and Jerry Schreier. If you have names that you would like to add, please add them into our chat box. If you are joining us via live stream, if you are here, please share a name. We join in our blessing of healing.
Yisheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. This week, we are at the very cusp. We are in the final dissertations, if you will, of the book of Devarim, of Deuteronomy. Moses, the elder statesman, has been talking for a while. In fact, the entire book of Devarim, the entire book of Deuteronomy is Moses's farewell address. I think he must have been a rabbi. It's no accident that these stories, this recitation happens around this time as we lead ourselves into a new year. It begins with an interesting phrase, Atem nitzavim hayom. You are standing here is the way it's translated, but it's more than that. Standing doesn't really do it justice. In fact, more it's that sense of you are planted. You are braced here. You are ready here. And what are we here to do? We're entering into a covenant with God. And what does this great bargain do for us? Well, God doesn't make any promises. God says, look, here's the covenant. I'm going to make this covenant with you, you and you and you and you and you who are all standing here today, and also with every other generation that's going to come down or exist in the future. Every generation is going to be entered into this covenant because of what we do today. Of course, it's unfair, right? You can't enter into an agreement for some future generation, but we do. And in this moment of communal agreement, we transform into the people of Israel. We transform into this people that has a responsibility to be the nitzav, the planted ones, the ones who are firm, who are clear. And this is the gift that we give to the world. It's been an interesting week. This week, right before the holidays, there is always a flurry of activities on the Rabbi Network. There are everything from, oh no, my cantor got sick and I'm looking for a cantor, can anybody help? To, we've just changed and we've now are only going via live stream instead of being in person as we had planned. So everything is up in the air and we have to replan everything that we thought that we were doing. That never happens here though. Right, Jess? Never. But what also happens in this week is that excitement begins to build. The excitement of a new year, the excitement of what's to come. And while we could dwell on the issues and we could dwell on the problems and the limitations and all of that, we can also get excited. We can get excited for lots of reasons. We have a new year starting, new opportunities, new ways to look at things. Last year at this point, we didn't know what we were doing. Our live stream systems were just sort of being figured out. We've got it. We know what we're doing. Sort of. There are lots of opportunities during these times. We have created lots of ways for people to connect in ways that they might not have before. And we'll continue to do that. But it also means that we are the nitzav about moral obligations. I had the opportunity to be on a great Zoom call because it was with President Biden and a group of rabbis. And one of the topics of conversation, which I'm not special, it was open to any rabbi in the country. It's not like, you know, Uncle Joe didn't call Rob, right? But it was this amazing opportunity to hear a vision for combating some of the ills in our country. Some of the issues of racial and economic inequalities, some of the issues of prejudices and racism and anti-Semitism. And one of the things that he said was that he more or less depends on the Jews to be that moral voice, to be that moral compass, to help make sure that the world does not take for granted freedoms, does not take for granted the freedom to express and to pray and to be our own faith. And so that's much of what being a nitzav is about. Being the ones who are firmly planted, firmly there, holding up the banners of morality, of ethics, of what's right and good in the world. And so as we move ourselves into Rosh Hashanah and then Yom Kippur, and by the way, on Yom Kippur, we'll read this same text again. It's the same text that we'll read on Yom Kippur. Because once again, as we are in the midst of this repentant day, we're also called upon to be the nitzav, the ones who stand up. And so as we begin this new year, we begin it with frustrations, we begin it with challenges and all of those other things that are happening. But we also begin it with a sense of optimism and opportunity, of exploring ways that we can help make the world just a little bit better. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with Aleinu on page 282. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. אמת מלכנו את עזובתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, בארץ מתחתנו. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We take some time now and call, please be seated, and call to mind those members of our community, our friends, our family, who are no longer part of this world, and those who have departed our earth, our own loved ones, those who our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, and life and death. We are in the period of Aninut, that period between the time of death and the arrangements for a funeral for Richard Schwartz, who is the uncle of Rochelle and Bill Krowinski, and we offer our condolences to the Krowinski family. We are also in the period of Shloshim for Richard Allen Sharon and Marilyn Bernhardt. We observe these yahrzeits on the Shabbat for Benjamin Brown, Ida Cohen, Samuel Levick, Gerda Schaffner, Hannah Kurek, Yetta Fellheim, Marilyn Levinson, Henry Kluans, Raymond Schatz, Richa Michal, Leo Weil, Herman Benjamin, Herman Rosenberg, Henry N. Goldenberg, Frank Kaufman, and Salma Gold. If anyone has other names to add, please add them into our chat box or say the name as I look around. And so we turn together to those words of Kaddish on page 294 as we rise together. Yitkadal veyitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyom echon uvchayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach la'alam u'lanme armaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We'll join together. Join together in Kiddush and Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziyat mitzrayim. Ki banu b'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikomim. Shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Chaim.
L'chaim.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. We have just a few announcements this evening. First of all, services this weekend are in honor of the 40th wedding anniversary of Terry and Alan Goldberg, and in honor of the adoption of Addison Bonsella. Tomorrow morning, we'll join together at 11 a.m. for tour study via Zoom. That link was sent to you before. And also, then we have our high holiday services, which begin Monday evening. So Monday evening, a whole host of the Rosh Hashanah celebrations beginning at 5:30 with our family service, and then 7 o'clock with our congregational service, all via either Zoom or YouTube. Both are available. So we hope that you'll join us for that. And then again on Tuesday, we'll join together at 10 o'clock, also via YouTube and Zoom for our Rosh Hashanah morning service. And then we'll have an opportunity to actually be in person at 5 o'clock at Frontier Park for Tashlich. And so maybe we'll get Jesse to sing a little of the hits for Rosh Hashanah just when we're together. And then, of course, we continue with our second day Rosh Hashanah on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And then we continue with Shabbat on Friday. Shabbat, we are continuing to have Shabbat either in person or live stream. Because of the size of our congregation, we can manage to have a few people here for Shabbat. So if you would like to join us for Friday evening, you're more than welcome to do that. Just please, we're asking that everybody who is in attendance is vaccinated. And so we will conclude with Oseh Shalom, prayer for peace.
Oseh
Shalom
bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh יעשה
שלום
שלום
עלינו
ועל כל
ועל
כל
כל
ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. An early Shana Tova Umetuka, a good year, a sweet year for us all. Take care.